DC Universe Online is engaging and allows you to fight alongside your favorite DC superheroes. Being such a young MMO, the AI has some pathfinding issues, though they will use items in the environment to combat you just as another player would. As you reach high levels and face off against the bosses, they use interesting techniques against you, but it does feel slightly scripted. The game is almost entirely revolved around the world that has been built up for years within the DC comic universe. It allows players to visit Arkham Asylum, Wayne Enterprises, Amusement Mile, and many other well-known locations, in most cases allowing players to explore and interact with these environments. Being able to interact and combat with so many heroes that many children grew up reading about and watching on TV and in movies was a very immersive aspect of this game. The embedded narrative is quite prevalent in DC Universe Online, each mission having its own chain of events and having several subplots branch off from the current story. None of them give your character much background, as that is meant for you to build for yourself, but help flesh out other NPCs' intents and motivations. The meta-story is you take on the persona of a normal person who has gained the powers of a superhero or villain, and you must fight to defeat Brainiac, who has imprisoned thousands of people against their will. The player chooses which quests in the game they wish to follow, if they choose at all. Players can revisit any area in the game at any time, as well as explore areas they will be questing in the near future. When players reach a level cap of 30, they can do more difficult versions of the old areas they have visited before, such as fighting key heroes and villains. Before and after each boss fight, a small cutscene occurs that gives story and background on that person's actions and desires. Many areas have quests that can be accomplished at the same time, and usually occurs in players joining together and working on completing quests. You can pick up many objects in the environment such as cars, rubbles, and barrels to attack with, but you cannot permanently change the world due to the online nature of the game. Movement around the world is decided in character creation, choosing flight, super speed, or acrobatics to scale buildings and explore. Exploring the world is important, as it allows access to races, but you are only allowed in areas the game wants you to be, so you cannot explore every building. Dead time is somewhat prevalent in DC Universe Online, as many of the enemies you face against are no match for your abilities one-on-one, usually resulting in the game putting several enemies in your way at a time to create challenges. Fights don't feel too drawn out, and usually you feel that what you are doing does make a difference. Constant cutscenes after each battle do not affect the playtime, as they are short videos that the player can skip if they choose to. Content is planned on being added each month to add more stories and background, as well as new costume themes for each character. Mapping is seen in every quest in the game, usually resulting in a new piece of armor or weapon, and pushes the story forward for the next chain of events. Speed is very even, with events happening as they occur, and no fast-forwarding through time due to the MMO nature of the game. Flow is most commonly seen in raids and alerts, where players work together towards a common goal. The gameplay is done in an immersive way, unlike other MMOs that have an auto-attack system. DC Universe Online allows a player to use several different combos for their weapon for different effect, as well as mixing those attacks with their superpowers. DC Universe Online is a very young game in the MMO scene that shows a lot of promise, but currently allows players to advance through the game much too quickly. I personally reached the level cap of 30 within 2 days of playing the game and wondered, what now? With there being little endgame content, DC Universe Online needs to add more content to keep players involved and flesh out the already established setting to make it their own.